What's up, boys? Action Jackson here, and today I have a very special presentation for you guys. Take some notes, grab a pen and paper. There's going to be a ton of information in here that hopefully you could use to achieve the same results. So basically, I'm going to be going over exactly how I lost 25 pounds of fat and added 20 pounds of lean muscle in 90 days. And it is using my specific action protocol. The action protocol, which is my personal protocol that I've developed to achieve these results so that anybody else can use it and achieve the same results. Hopefully, I'll give you enough information and insight to where you can achieve the same results, but you have to watch through. It's going to be a little bit of a long one today, and definitely take some notes and apply the information. So, how does somebody accomplish such good results? Well, first of all, bro, I've been in your exact position. I've been fat, I've been ugly, I've been low energy. I felt like nothing was working. I felt like I was just working so hard just to look like shit still. Just to look like shit. And you can see on the right here, look at me before I started training versus 1 year after training. Like, there's not even much of a difference over there. Like, yeah, okay, I got a little bit of chest action going on, maybe like a little muscle going, maybe a little bit of shoulder definition, just a little bit. But like, I didn't have abs. I still look like shit, you know, and I was pissed. I was pissed. I still had like that face fat going on. I was just really angry, bro. And you could tell, like, look at the bags under my eyes. Like, I was still low energy. Like, I felt like I was eating everything right. I didn't know what was going on. So I knew I was doing something wrong, but it pissed me off so much to the point where I dedicated everything to try and figure out exactly what I was doing wrong. That's when I did figure out what I was doing wrong. I was doing everything wrong. Pretty much everything, bro. My training, my diet, my routines, lifestyle, everything was wrong, bro. So after one more year of trial and error, I developed the action protocol. This protocol is specifically designed for anybody to get absolutely ripped in 90 days. So that's what we're going to go over today. So who is this for? Who's this presentation for, bro? If you're sick of not seeing results in the gym, regardless of how hard you work, this is for you, bro. If you're feeling low energy despite eating all the right foods, this is for you. If you want to start seeing way better results in the gym, this is for you. That's a big one, bro. If you want to have tons of energy and look your best, this is for you. If you're finally ready to make the lifestyle change necessary to be confident without a shirt on, this is for you. Who is this presentation not for? If you're looking for quick, easy fixes to try and get jacked, just click off the video, bro. This is not for you. This is not a quick, easy fix. If you're not willing to undergo a lifestyle change to better your well-being as a man, this is not for you. If you can't commit to a consistent positive lifestyle and would rather continue living as it is, this is not for you. If you're fine with being the average Joe in society, this is not for you. This is for people that want more. They want to be above average. Now, here is the truth, bro. Mainstream fitness advice has completely fucking lied to you, dude. You need to optimize for your hormones. These mainstream fitness influencers blast artificial hormones so anything works, bro. They can go do fucking Pilates and have veins and muscle, bro. So over here, Dr. Mike, I got a picture of him going, bro. Stop listening to that guy. He's geared to the gills. He's a bit short too, I believe. So I wouldn't even listen to that guy. Protein shakes, pre-workout, chicken and rice, low-fat diets with high carb. Those are all the reason why you can't lose the fat. The reason why you have low energy, bro. These are all the reasons. Training every set to failure, using cookie-cutter gym routines, it's all garbage advice, bro. It's all garbage advice purported to you by these steroid influencers because, in essence, bro, if you're injecting growth hormone, testosterone, you don't have to worry about diet, training, nothing, bro. You could eat anything, train however you want, and you're going to build muscle, bro. That's the truth, bro. As a natty, you have to truly dial in the fine details, if you want to optimize your hormones, if you want to optimize your training to, build muscle, look good, all that type of stuff, bro. Taking supplements, weird chemical powders, they don't actually work. It's just a way for those same fitness influencers to profit off of you. They don't care if you get jacked. All they want to do is sell you a product to make money. And again, they take steroids. Anything will work for them. Maybe those supplements work. Anything will work, bro. They just want to make money off you. They don't care how you look, how you feel, nothing. That's the truth, bro. It's all for money. Don't worry, though. I'm here to teach you the action protocol, which is completely different from mainstream fitness advice, and it'll actually get you jacked with high amounts of energy. And if you want that person to be you, I'll show you exactly how to melt fat away while also packing on lean muscle and add a ton of mass while staying lean and become the most energetic, confident version of yourself. And you get to keep it all forever. That's the best part. Is like once you learn this, you have the information and you could just continue on, bro. Continue doing this, apply it. The shit will compound, everything, bro. And in case you don't know me, here's a brief backstory about how I got here. So I started as a kid. I was 140 pounds, had bad genetics, had no muscle, no six-pack, nothing, bro. Nothing was going on. I had developed extremely low energy and brain fog every single day, and I was wondering why I felt this way. Because I felt like I was eating all the right foods. I was eating the protein shakes, the protein oats, the chicken and rice, everything all the mainstream fitness advice was telling me, but I still looked like shit. I still felt like shit. I made very little progress in a year, and it only got me more fat. I couldn't even see my abs, bro. And I was pissed. Bro. And then I figured out the exact protocol anybody can use to become the most energetic and jacked version of themselves. And as you can see over here, I figured it out. The action protocol is my method that I built through my own trial and error by in-depth research into fitness, nutrition, and external forces that are causing you to stay fat and low energy. And I've decided to break it all down for you guys. In the next few minutes, I'll outline the entire process, A to Z, of what I did for myself to accomplish these results, so that you too can use my action protocol to lose 25 pounds of fat and add 20 pounds of lean muscle in 90 days. So here it is. This is the action protocol. It is a 3-stage process that'll work for anybody. So the first thing that we're going to do is the recomp phase. And this is basically where you dial in your diet, your routines, your lifestyle. Everything needs to be optimized. And then once we melt the fat away and pack on mass at the same time, once you're at a good point, we can start adding mass super quickly with the lean bulk phase. And then we'll go back to the shredding phase right after that to really just get super shredded, super lean, tan, all the stuff. It'll turn heads. So let me show you exactly how each stage will get you looking lean and muscular. So phase 1, recomp. So first off, we're going to have to optimize your nutrition. So first off, we're going to cut out all processed food, no matter what, every single thing, bro. If it doesn't come from the ground, if it doesn't come from an animal, we're not eating it, all right? No chips, no cereal, no protein oats, no bullshit, no soda, no zero sugar soda, none of that garbage, bro. None of that garbage. We're going to be eating only single ingredient foods. I'm talking beef, eggs, raw milk. Those are the main things you want to be getting your protein from, your fat, saturated fat, all that type of stuff. You're going to be optimizing for cholesterol and micronutrient intake. The reason being is that cholesterol converts into testosterone in your body. And a lot of people are afraid of cholesterol because, the mainstream advice has always talked about how cholesterol causes heart problems, this and that. You want to lower your cholesterol. Now, that is extremely far from the truth, and they're lying to you on purpose. They know exactly what happens, bro. It's pretty easy to chat GPT it if you have the right information. Basically, when you eat single ingredient foods, you don't need to worry about cholesterol building up in your veins, in your arteries, and causing high blood pressure and all kinds of stuff like that. The processed food causes inflammation and it damages your body. It damages your arteries, bro. It damages your artery walls. So what happens is your body, which uses cholesterol because your body is made up of cholesterol, it brings the cholesterol to the damaged areas and it repairs it with that. And over time, all that builds up a plaque, and it closes your arteries, and then it causes heart failure. If you're eating single ingredient whole foods, even if you're eating a ton of cholesterol, you're not going to have problems with that. Your heart is going to be running good. You're going to be healthy. You're going to feel way better. And that's because cholesterol is actually a building block in a lot of, functions in your body. Your whole nervous system is, it's based off of cholesterol, bro. Your nerve endings connect with cholesterol. The neurons in your brain, they bridge pathways through cholesterol. Testosterone is created through cholesterol. And everyone knows testosterone is extremely important to being shredded, building muscle, having high energy, having a clear state of mind. So optimizing your diet is extremely important. And obviously, you're going to want to perfect your macros and your calories to ensure that you're losing fat and building muscle at the same time. Now, we want to be locking in your training. So we're going to be creating a plan to where you are training 5 to 6 times per week. And, I don't want to be training 3 days a week. I don't believe in that. You should be enjoying the gym anyway. You shouldn't be wanting to go 3 times a week. That's just how it is. So we're also going to be wanting to balance heavy training with pump training. So, a lot of people, they'll try and train till failure and do super heavy one rep maxes, this and that. That shouldn't be it, bro. You should be wanting to squeak out 6 to 8 reps with heavy training in the beginning of your workout when you have the most energy, and then at the end of your workout, start pump training. So high reps, lower weight, all that type of stuff. And then we're going to be wanting to optimize sets to failure. You don't want to be training every single set to failure. That is bad. So for heavy compound lifts, basically you want to be, first set you want to leave 2 reps in reserve. And then the second set you want to be training to failure while still using that heavy weight. First 2 are heavy weight. This is for like your first 2, workouts. Or exercises, my bad. And then the third one is going to be a pump. So you're going to want to be getting rid of like 25% of the weight, and you're going to want to be going to failure again, but with the pump. It's completely different. You want to be optimizing the intensity of your workout. You want to be training extremely intensely no matter what, and that's just how that is. So this is extremely important. We want to implement a healthy lifestyle. You want to be walking 10 to 12,000 steps a day, basically having an active lifestyle, getting 1 to 3 hours of sunlight every single day. And these two work hand in hand because you can go outside, go for a walk without your shirt, be getting sunlight. So they work hand in hand there. The big importance of that is that the sunlight basically gives you a ton of energy. It gives you vitamin D, and vitamin D basically converts into a hormone in your body. And especially if you're eating plenty of meat that has plenty of vitamin B12, not only will it convert the vitamin D into sustainable energy, good energy, whatnot, but the vitamin D converts into a hormone which aids in a bunch of other hormones in the body. So obviously testosterone, but one of the big ones I like to talk about is melatonin. So it'll put you in a deep sleep, give you high quality sleep, which benefits everything. That's how you have high energy, all that type of stuff. Same thing with the steps, very beneficial. You'll be burning fat. You don't have to be doing all this unnecessary cardio, all that type of stuff. It's kind of garbage. Getting 7 to 9 hours of high quality sleep every single day, uninterrupted sleep. And it's extremely important because recovery is extremely important to hormone health and, muscle building, muscle protein synthesis, muscle recovery. And these are going to be extremely important to, lose fat and build muscle. If you do everything perfectly, You will be building muscle like crazy and shredding fat like crazy. So, we want to have no phone 30 minutes after waking up. This is extremely important because as soon as you wake up, you have a ton of cortisol in your body. And basically, you want to reduce that cortisol. And with walking, that'll reduce cortisol a lot. So, I like to go for walks in the first 30 minutes of my day. I like to get into the sun, get sunlight in my eyes, reset, my circadian rhythm. And if you go on your phone right after you wake up, you're just going to be frying your dopamine. You're going to be just injecting your brain. You're going to have a lot of cortisol, and that is going to destroy your testosterone and destroy your brain. You're going to have brain fog. You're going to have low energy, and you're going to wonder why you have it. It's because you have bad habits. So the second phase is the lean bulk, and basically, we're going to be wanting to, for the diet, we're going to be wanting to keep, all the same principles with the diet. The recomp phase is basically everything, just optimizing all the bad habits, the bad routines, the bad diet, everything. We're going to be optimizing that. And then once that's all optimized and we got you to a good point where you're like around 10% body fat and you'll be building muscle that whole time, anything under 10% body fat is really not optimal for adding mass. So that's why we kind of stop it right there, and then we go to the lean bulk. So we're going to be wanting to structure the diet for that. So we're going to be wanting to shift the diet to eating way more cholesterol, way more protein. So, I want to be aiming for 4 grams of cholesterol a day. We're going to be eating a ton of eggs, a ton of beef, and that's how you pack on muscle super quick. You want to utilize carbohydrates as a tool. So a lot of people, they eat carbs, it's like, oh, it's energy, carbohydrates are energy, kind of, right? The food pyramid lies to us. I wouldn't listen to the food pyramid where you should eat mostly grains. I would avoid grains at all costs because it's loaded with glyphosate, loaded with phytic acids, it steals your micronutrients, it gives you low energy. I wouldn't, it's not optimal. I wouldn't eat that. But the carbohydrates, they're mainly a tool. So basically with that being said, they're not essential. They're not essential. There's people that do carnivore and they're just fine. So basically how you utilize carbohydrates as a tool is you eat them 90 minutes before a workout. And that'll supply your muscle with glycogen. And the reason why I say this is because if you run out of glycogen and you run out of carbs in your muscle, your body will start eating the muscle away to start, using that as energy. And then now you're going to have less muscle. So you want to be extremely, competent when it comes to these things and very aware of how carbohydrate is a tool. And also eating it right after the workout, spiking the insulin, getting glycogen into your muscles immediately while your muscles are extremely sensitive to it. And insulin drives protein into the muscle. So it is extremely important to get some before and after a workout. It's just a tool just to, use that. If you eat too much, you'll get fat, and we don't want that. So we want to structure your eating times to optimize muscle growth. That is basically what I just said, but the reason why I say 90 minutes before a workout, you want to be eating your carbs and possibly your protein, is, you want the energy going into the workout. I basically just described that with the carbohydrates. And then, again, eating them right after a workout, especially if you eat, 90 grams of protein before, 90 grams of protein after. I'd optimize for a bit more. And, we'll definitely get you dialed in, but definitely structuring the eating times, not eating breakfast, fasting all morning, burning that fat, keeping you in a clear mental space, having high energy. That's it. And then obviously you want to be eating clean whole foods to ensure you stay lean while in a surplus. We've already talked about that. So training to pack on mass. So you want to be training to get stronger every single gym session. I'd say add 5 pounds of weight every single gym session to your heavy lifts, heavy compound lifts. You want to be heavy compound lift focused, so you want to be doing a couple of those heavy compound lifts in the beginning of your workout. You want to be training extremely intense, like really try to build that muscle, bro. Really try to build that muscle. And you want to be optimizing to grow certain muscles. So if you want your shoulder to grow, you want to be doing heavy shoulder press like beginning of the workout. Basically stuff like that, basically just optimize it for that. So the third phase is going to be the shredding phase. So again, same diet, same that, but we're going to be switching things around a bit more. So structuring the diet for shreds, we're going to go into implementing a slight caloric deficit. So I'm talking like 200, 300 calories. You don't want to be really going more than that in the shreds, I believe. I think it's a very, you want to be consistent, have a slow process. You don't want to cut too aggressively. You don't want to start losing muscle, stuff like that. You want to keep the muscle, if not, build a little bit more muscle in the cut if you're not as muscular. Get you super shredded. So that's that. Keeping the carb intake below 100 grams is extremely important. You want to be swapping fattier meats with leaner meats. I'm talking swapping the ribeye for the New York strip, stuff like that. Eating leaner ground beef. Swapping dense carbs like bananas, avocados with berries and watermelon. They have less carbs in them, so it'll help you feel more full. Pickles are another good one to keep you below the 100 grams of carbs, because your body's going to want carbs. It's going to keep craving carbs. And another cheat code I found out is eating protein first when you eat, so that you start eating less carbs. And that's that. So, there's nothing much to it after I've explained everything else. Basically, just being smarter with your eating, and basically just trying to stay in that caloric deficit, because you're going to have that appetite, especially at the end of the night, and you want to control that best you can. And the best way I found to do that is with berries, watermelon, pickles, leaner meats, all that type of stuff. Keep you feeling full while, being in a deficit. So training to shred fat. You want to be hitting legs way more often with extreme intensity. So hitting legs 3 times a week, one of those days being a sprinting day, is extremely important, because legs burn the most calories. They burn the most calories when you train them. They boost your testosterone. They do everything like that. And basically, it's just extremely important to getting shredded. I think a lot of people overlook this. And yeah. So raising your steps from around 10 to 12K steps to over 15K steps a day. That'll be burning a ton of fat. You want to also be utilizing the stair stepper. I do 30 minutes twice a week when I'm shredding, maybe on like level 7, level 8. And they'll burn like 300 calories on average just in that. The 15K steps, that'll burn like 500 calories on average. And dude, when you're burning all these calories while implementing the legs more often, implementing the caloric deficit, eating less carbs, bro, that is the recipe to just get fucking peeled, especially for the summer. Very important for the summer, man. I always try to keep it strict in the summer, and that's just how that is. So that's that. Now, the action protocol, this will be the summary. So we're going to be melting your fat away while adding mass. You're going to become the most confident and energetic version of yourself, and you're going to keep it all for the rest of your life. So now that you understand exactly how this process works, I have an offer for you. If you're skinny fat, if you're overweight, if you're low energy, and you're tired of not having the physique you want, and you're ready to look good without a shirt on, get that lean, muscular physique, keep it forever, and become the most confident and energetic version of yourself, you are ready to lose 25 pounds of fat and add 20 pounds of lean muscle simultaneously. I have a one-on-one coaching that I do with all my clients. You'll have direct access to my phone number. You could text me, call me whenever you want if you have any questions. 24/7 access to that. You'll have weekly one-on-one calls with me. We can go over exactly what you're struggling with, exactly what we can work on. We can implement, specific things towards you. I will tailor and create a specific workout plan to what you want to do. If you want to burn fat, build muscle, if you want to just pack on pounds of lean mass quickly, if you're just trying to shred fat as fast as you can because you're overweight, I will tailor a workout plan specifically to that so that we can hit your goals. I will have a grocery list. I will have custom meal plans specifically for you. All these types of things that will be implemented into the one-on-one coaching if you work with me one-on-one. It'll also have every bit of knowledge, every bit of information that I know that'll guarantee your results. Get you looking right, get you looking shredded, peeled, and muscular. So if you guys are truly interested in that, I will have a link down below where you can schedule a call with me, and I will be looking forward to talking to you guys. I love you guys. Take action, and you have a blessed day.